Hey, John from FatStacksBlog.com here with today's presentation asking how much a website can make with 1 million published words. Really, the whole analysis is looking at it from a totally different perspective. This is not my idea. Basically looking at, you got 1 million published words, how much are you making from that 1 million published words? Interesting question. Let's dive in. It's a novel approach to analyzing blog success. Before we do so, though, this is brought to you by Ezoic. And the question that Ezoic asked long time ago is, would my ad revenue increase if I could split test hundreds of ad placement sizes and networks over time all over the site? That's what Ezoic wondered. They built the platform to do just that. It's basically machine learning, split testing ads all over the place. And the answer is yes, ad revenue improves. I use Ezoic on several niche sites. It works. The ad revenue is excellent. They take starter sites. They take people who are just getting started in this business. So check out ezoic.com. Okay, today's discussion is not my idea. It's actually Pierce of Future State Media. Check out his website. It's very good. This guy's very smart, very analytical. I like what he posts in the forum at FatStacks forum. He said I could tell you about this, so that's cool. That was super nice of him. So here goes. The question is, how much does his site, this is his analysis, make from 1 million words? And the answer is $40,000 to $70,000. So for basically every 1 million words, he's going to make roughly that. It's going to vary a little bit, depends on some conversion rates and all that, because we're dealing with an Amazon site. And the other question is this good? Is this a good benchmark? And if we reach this benchmark, is it worth to continue investing content? And that's the critical question, right? We want to know if the amount we're spending on content to produce the 1 million words, is that worth it? Are we getting a proper return? And in Ashley's analysis, what he came to when he got this range of that's what his site's making here per 1 million words was yes, based on what they were spending on content, how quickly they're getting that back, it is totally worth it. So let's do the breakdown. Now this is Ashley's site. It's an Amazon affiliate site with some display ads. I'm going to do my site after, which is mostly display ads, and so you'll get a good sense of different sites, different approaches, different numbers, but very similar outcomes, interestingly enough. All right, from 1 million visitors, Ashley would estimate anywhere from 200 to 400,000 clicks, okay, to Amazon, resulting in 20 to 40,000 sales with an average product value of $30. So an affiliate commission of 5% results 5% of 30 is $1.50 per sale. That's the affiliate commission. Now, on the low end of 20,000 clicks, that would be $30,000. On the high end of 40,000 clicks, the same commission of $1.50 is $60,000. This is per year revenue. Now, plus the ads of $10 per thousand visitors. I think it's a conservative amount, but he probably isn't too aggressive with that. He's getting another $10,000 per year in display ad revenue. So the revenue earned from the site from per 1 million words is $40,000 to $70,000 per year. Ashley's investing $50 per thousand words for the content. The question is he's getting a good deal on that? And the answer is yes. I mean, he's spending $50,000 up front to produce 1 million words, and he's pretty much making that back in the year. Now, I'm going to have some caveats and considerations later. This analysis does not work if your site is under a year old, because you're not dealing with existing traffic. I mean, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work with small sites. This works with larger established sites. But even if you're new and getting started in this analysis is really good, because it's something for you to keep in mind to do this once you get 100,000 words, 300,000 words published. It'll happen sooner than you think if you stick with it. And then this analysis is actually really important. All right. I found it really cool because it basically answered the same question and gave me the same answer as Ashley. It's like, what I'm spending on content, absolutely I'm getting my money back, and it's a terrific investment. I'm going to carry on with it. So applied to my site here, when Ashley published this in the forum, I had never taken this approach at all. And I really liked it, okay, because it's a simple formula, super dead simple, to get an idea of what you can expect in 12, 24, 36 months out based on various content budgets, which is really interesting. Interestingly enough, this was I found this also interesting. I'm not going to dive into the numbers because I think the revenue is more important. But Ashley, based on his experience on his site, is that 1 million words of content generated about 1 million visitors per year. I did a little bit better than that, but essentially that was my outcome as well, which is interesting. So if you're out publishing a site and you're hoping to get to 1 million visitors per year, give or take, and of course it's really going to depend on your niche. Like these are not universal numbers, but you know, a million words published could result in 1 million visitors. For me, it's a little bit more. If you're in a super lucrative, high value niche, obviously the number is going to be lower. And if they are just as high, you're making a killing. If you're in a very, very low value niche, maybe you're going to get 2-3 million visitors per million words. It's all going to depend, but it's an interesting view as to what 1 million words can generate traffic. Moving forward with the case study from my site, this is 2019. All right, the total words published on the site by end of December was 7,100,000. Okay, it's total words, not just the number of words published in 2019. That's from the start of the site in 2014. Total revenue in 2019 was $568,000. So the revenue per 1 million published words in 2019 was $80,087. That includes ads, it includes affiliate offers, includes everything, total revenue. All right, so that means the revenue per 1,000 published words in 2019 was $80. All right, per 1,000 words, I spend $60 right now. Sometimes I spend a little bit more, sometimes I spend a little bit less, but the average is about $60. So I spend $60,000 a year for 1 million words. Let's say I think I spent quite a bit more, but anyways, what I'm getting back from that is the $80, and that's a very, very good investment. And keep in mind, this entire analysis does not even contemplate the value of the site in terms of selling it. So it's a very, very good return. Which means paying my current rate at 6 cents per word is worth it. I'm earning it back inside of a year. And it's important to note that this is definitely due to having a lot of older content, right? I'm stacking my revenue, right? Content that I published in 2015, I'm still making money from some of that. And that means it's adding up. So it's not like just the content I published in 2019 generated all that revenue. That is not the case. That's a completely misleading statement. It's the aggregate, and it's the stacking, and it's the building up of the revenue over time. So if I play my cards right and I got a little luck on my side and I keep improving, next year I should generate more than $80 per million words because I have another year under my belt, I have more content, and I'm stacking that revenue, which makes for an interesting year-over-year analysis, right? Because you can see if your site's actually improving with its investment or it's not. And if it's not, let's say next year I go down to $60,000 per million words, what does that mean? Does that mean I've hit a ceiling? The site can't really grow? Should I invest my money elsewhere? Or did I do something wrong? Do I need to change something? These are good questions. It's a good analysis. It points to whether the site's healthy and progressing, or there are problems and something needs to be fixed, or maybe it's reached its maturity and it's time to maybe sell, or just run it as a cash cow. So what about traffic from 1 million words? Ashley goal that he actually achieved with the site was 1 million words equals 1 million annual visitors. My results were, I had a total words published of 7.1 million words, and the total traffic in 2019 was 9.3 million. So I had a little bit more than 1 million annual visitors from 1 million words. But it's interesting. I don't even know what niche Ashley's in. I don't ask these things. It's not my business. Different type of site. What is interesting, though, is that we're pretty similar. Okay, it's pretty similar, and I have no idea if he's in the same niche, but I doubt it. I suspect there are a lot of niches right around this number. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of niches that are way lower. If you sell cloud software and you're generating $300 per 1,000 visitors, you're probably not going to get 1 million visitors per year with 1 million words of published content. Just probably not going to happen. Your market's probably not even that big. Likewise, if you're in maybe a recipe niche, which pays less per 1,000 visitors, maybe you're going to get 3 million visitors per million published words. So, it's obviously going to vary quite a bit. So let's jump about considerations and caveats here. Okay, site size. This is really only helpful for larger sites. If you don't have 500,000 words published or 300,000 words. It's hard to do an analysis like that. It's definitely hard to do if you're inside the first year or two of your site. So even if you're just getting started out, this analysis is important to keep in mind for down the road, because I think year over year it gives you a really good idea of how your site is progressing. Your first year, these numbers are going to be atrocious. They really are. I mean, you're going to have published probably lots of content. You're going to have very little revenue. So your revenue per million words published or 100,000 words published is going to be awful. But what you want to see is in year 2 is that improves. In year 3, it gets even better. And hopefully it just keeps on getting better. It'll be interesting to see what happens this year. I think this year is going to be really bad because right now, it's April 3, 2020. When I'm doing this presentation, ad rates are terrible with the whole coronavirus economic catastrophe. Ad rates are way down. Revenue is going to be down. It's probably going to be several months. So the analysis is going to be a little bit more difficult this year. Probably not as good as last year, but at least there's an explanation for it, right? It's not like there's site health problems. There's an explanation for it. The other thing to keep in mind is my site does earn above average ad revenue. It's in a very lucrative niche, and even though it's mostly monetized with display ads, and versus Ashley was mostly affiliate offers, which typically you would think would out earn an ad site like across the board. It's not always the case. Ashley's doing a great job. I happen to be in a niche that earns very, very well with display ads, hence I stick with it. And as I've already said, my site is very, very established. It has good domain authority. It's 6 years old. It's an established site. And so it's going to skew the results favorably. But really, this isn't a competition with you don't compete with me. Really what we're doing the analysis for is it's like golf. We want to look at, am I improving the score? Next year, what are the numbers going to look like? What are the numbers going to look at next year or the year after that? And it's this comparison to give some sort of an assessment to site health. Site sale, I already mentioned this. This whole analysis doesn't even contemplate site sale. So, I mean, all this, the $80,000 per million words published that I generate, that doesn't even include the value of a site sale with that. Now, if we took a typical multiple, we're talking, $80,000 a year site would result in, let's be generous, say 3 years, $240,000 for sale. So that's on top of just the annual revenue. And finally, passive income or stacked income that I talked about from earning revenue from content I published years ago. I use the term loosely, right? Over time, older content will be less effective. Some content will continue to perform for a long, long time, but eventually in an aggregate, it will be less effective. And so it's this constant sort of fluidity of content, of how it's performing. Old content that used to do well may not do as well. Maybe it needs updating, which is a further investment. Newer content may do really well. Maybe content is somewhere in between, right? The 2 to 3 year ago mark that got published, it's coming into its, optimal earning, let's say months or years. So you got to keep that in mind as well. It's not like everything all the content 2 years ago that is performing super well then, that doesn't mean that same content is earning as well now, right? Rankings change and all of that. So it's just something to keep in mind. So how do I actually count all the words on my site? That's pretty much the analysis. And I think I've beat it to death here, but maybe some of you are stuck way back and going, whoa, John, how did you count 7.1 million words on your site? No, I didn't do it one by one. I didn't even do it post by post. There's no way I would do that. There's a plugin for that called WP Word Count. You can check it out at wordpress.org. Just type in WP Word Count. Great plugin. Free version actually will count up all the words on your site. It's awesome. I just deactivate it once I got the total word count. I don't need to keep it there. But anyways, there's a quick and easy way to do that. So I mean, this analysis is super, super simple, right? You get the total words published, all the words on your site, and you get your total revenue for whatever time period you're looking at, and you do the analysis. It's not that fancy. It's not that difficult. But for me, I think it's super helpful. It's a very, very interesting analysis to do. Thanks for listening.